Yeah. Unmute பண்ணுங்க. சாய் ஜெயமலா. வேற ரிக்வெஸ்ட் கொடுக்கல. எங்க ஒரு ரிக்வெஸ்ட் வருதுன்னா நம்ம இந்த இடத்துல வரும். சரி, ஓகே.
அவங்க ஏசியை மினிமம் ஏசி ஆன் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க சார். நம்ம டிராவலிங் போல சரியா ட்ரெயின்ல எல்லாம் கொஞ்சம் கம்மியா இருந்தது. நல்ல எல்லா வண்டியும்
Good morning, all.
Good morning.
Today's topic is about tax deduction at source, that is TDS. So we have so many kind of experience in TDS part during the tax audit seasons, because we have to find the numbers, match it. If it doesn't match, we have to have a conversation with the clients. Like we have to be like we have to spend more time in this part. As my context about and TDS sections and returns forms and due dates. So what is TDS? Sound TV.
Oh, sorry.
So what is TDS? So anyone?
We are paying payment to someone, we will deduct tax at that point of payment itself, and we will remit to the government.
So TDS is tax directed at source. So we pay this TDS at certain payments has to be paid by the payee to the recipient. That is, if we pay some certain payments like fee, rent, commission, professional fee, salary, interest, etc. So many transactions are there. So each and every transaction has its own TDS sections. So if we So we deduct TDS at its sections percentage. This provision makes sure the tax was deducted in advance on the payments being made by you. That is, if you pay a certain amount to certain transaction like salary, commission, professional charges or technical fees, we have to deduct the TDS, and we have to pay the remaining amount. So today we are going to see these TDS sections. There is 192 TDS on salary, 194C TDS on contractors, 194J TDS on professional charges, 194I TDS on rent, 194H TDS on commission or brokerage. That is, first we are looking at section 192. So every person responsible for paying any income chargeable to tax under the head of salaries shall deduct the tax at source. That is, an employer that is paying you tax, paying you salary, he has to deduct a certain amount from your salary. That is under section 192 that is under section 192 on TDS. It can be any whether it can be an individual, hub firm, company, HUF firm, company, university, corporate society, local authority or government is liable to deduct tax at source from the salary income of employee. So exemption. Before that exemption, the amount which will be deducted, the TDS amount will be deducted is from the slab rate. That is, after applying our slab rates, the tax amount will be the taxable amount will be deducted under TDS. That is exemption from not deducting TDS on salary. That is the slab rates. 0 to 2.5 lakhs, we don't have any taxes, like 0%. And for senior citizens, it's 3 lakhs, and super senior citizens, 5 lakhs. So, for example, a monthly salary of 80,000 a person is earning. The total income comes to like 9,60,000. After deducting the standard deductions, 50,000, it comes to 9,10,000, and the other deductions that is under chapter 6A. After deducting the deductions of chapter 6A, the income chargeable tax is 8 lakhs. So as per the slab rates, for 8,75,400. From that 75,400, we deduct the TDS on salary. That is the company or the payer deducts the salary, deducts the TDS from that taxable amount. That is to arrive at 6,283. The total taxable amount, that is 75,400, will be divided by 12. So that the 6,283 will arrive. Okay.
So I have a doubt. So how does employer knows that we have chapter 60 deductions or any other deductions? Like in case of house property, if the salaried employee has an house property income and he is paying interest on loan for acquiring such house property, then he would be claiming some exemption, right? My question is whether that calculation would be added in this, and additionally, how the employer comes to know about this information.
There is employee means us, the employer.
Employer is deducting TDS. So while calculating this amount, no. So how he comes to know that this employee has this much deductions and this much interest paid towards the interest on housing loan? How does that employer comes to know about that information of a particular employee?
But I have to have to clear that because I had too many doubts in 192. I just covered the thing which I can convey to you. But I have too many doubts in 192. If you are capable or able to explain me, you can explain me. Because while doing it 192, I had too many doubts.
Yeah, it's basically simple. What happens is at the end of the third quarter, all the employees are supposed to provide the information to the employers about the details of Chapter 16 deductions and about the details of how much interest they have paid on the housing loan. So based on that, the employer makes a revised estimate on the either on the last quarter or the end of the third quarter. After making the revised estimate, they will deduct TDS accordingly. For example, if this calculation is made on the first or second quarter, and TDS to be deducted for each month is 6,283, right? And during the third quarter, for example, if the assessee has additionally paid interest on housing loan, then that has to be included in this calculation, and employer recalculates the TDS to be deducted. If the amount comes to 4,000, then subsequently they will deduct 4,000 as the TDS amount. Yes.
First two quarters they paid 6,283. Okay. In the third quarter they were calculating it's come around 8,000 they need to pay.
Okay.
Then in first two quarters they are short for
No, that is not an issue.
That's not an issue.
Only on except 192, other section as you are saying shortfall occurs, but as per 192 there is no shortfall because it is based on estimate and employees is an individual, right? For individual, entire income is not taxed. Sorry, the income is assessed during the whole year and not at a particular month or quarter. So that is the reason. So as an individual, he is liable to pay tax from 1st April 2000 starting of the financial year to 31st March of the financial year. So it doesn't matter which quarter he is paying the TDS amount. But if it is a company now, for example, 194C section, it matters because every month they have to deduct TDS as per the amount which has to be paid to that person. So that is the difference between 192 and all other sections because individual is involved here and in other cases companies, firms will be involved.
But then that interest on deferment and payment of advance tax, that will come, no?
Yes, exactly.
While the computing.
Yeah, if computation is made and no, as the TDS is being deducted, only if he has any other income. For example, after calculating the salaried income, suppose 1,20,000 comes as tax liability. If he has paid 1,20,000 during the year at any point of time, for example, if that 1,20,000 is deducted at March month, it doesn't matter which month they have paid that 1,20,000. Only if the tax liability is 1,50,000. For example, he has some other interest income and he had not informed that interest income to the employer. Then for the additional 30,000 only, advanced tax provision applies and 234B, 234C will apply. So as far as salaried income, this shortfall doesn't arise. Irrespective of which month they deposit that amount, they only have to see whether they have deposited the amount during the year, that is during the financial year. That's it.
So 192, I think Ganesh have given more information than me. So next 194C. Any person, section 194C, any person responsible for paying any sum to a resident contractor for carrying out any work contract is liable to deduct at a rate of 1% or 2% as a case may be for such payment. The tax shall be deducted at the time of credit or payment, whichever happens earlier. Here, if a pay and a payer and a pay comes into a contract, they have to deduct under 194C. That is, the pay is liable to deduct TDS at 1% or 2%. The rate for 1% is for individual or HUF contractors. It is TDS is 1%. Other than individual or HUF contractor is 2%. The threshold limit, there is a threshold limit for this section 194C. Tax is required to be deducted under this provision only if the amount paid or credited in the single payment exceeds 30,000. That is, if a payment exceeds 30,000, they have to deduct the TDS at 1% or 2% according to their nature. And if the aggregate amount, that is, if the payment doesn't exceed 30,000, but it is under the 30,000, but adding those amount, it goes to aggregate of above 1 lakh, means they have to deduct TDS at 1% or 2%. So for you, our question. ABC Limited makes the following payment to Mr. X, a contractor, for contract their work during the previous year, that is 2021 to 2022. These are the three payments, that is 20,000 on 1/5/2021 and 25,000 on 1/8/2021 and 28,000 on 1/12/2021. And on 1/3/2022, that is March 2022, in the previous year, a payment of 30,000 is due to Mr. X, and an account of contract work, that is 30,000 is payable. So if that is ABC Limited is liable to deduct TDS on under section 194C.
Yes. Because during the financial year, if you have add all the four, if exceeding 1 lakh, so we need to deduct it.
Like I explained before, the answer is like yes. During the financial year, the aggregate amount of 30,000, the threshold limit of 30,000 doesn't exist for the first three payments. But after that, 30,000, that is a payable amount, that is 30,000. If you add that, it goes above the aggregate amount, that is 1,03,000. So as here, the payee has to deduct the TDS at 2% or 1% according to the person. So here the section 194 is applicable, 194C is applicable.
So my doubt is whether to deduct TDS for the entire amount or only for the last payment, which exceeds the limit of
The entire amount, that 1,03,000. Because the threshold limit doesn't exceed for the three payments, but the aggregate amount exceeds for 1,03,000. So we have to deduct on 1,03,000.
2% and remaining payment.
So next is section 194J. So here it comes for our professions. Every person other than an individual who is responsible for paying to a resident any sum by way of fees for professional services or technical services, any remuneration or fees or commission by whatever name called other than those on which tax is deductible under section 192 to a director of a company or royalty. So if you don't mind, I have a doubt on the third point. So anyone, can you please explain? Seniors. Because while I was doing this preparation, I had too many doubts. But
see, very simple. If a director, you know who is a director, right, for a company, that is the like an agent to the company. He plays a fiduciary role to the company. So as per the provision of Companies Act, every director has to attend the board meetings, right? For attending the board meetings, there are various payments. One of the payment is sitting fee. Okay, for sitting fee, 194J has to be deducted. So, director would be receiving salary, right? For receiving that salary, 192. TDS has to be deducted as 192. For receiving sitting fees, it's a professional services. So for that, while making that payment, 194J has to be TDS has to be deducted under section 194J. So that is the point.
so next, the rate of tax shall be deducted at 2% in the case for technical services or royalty in the nature of consideration for sale, distribution or exhibition of cinematographic films, and 10% in other cases, that is professional services and royalty. However, in case of payee engaged only in the business of operation of call center, the tax shall be deducted at source of at 2%. That is 2% for technical services and 10% for professional services and royalties.
So okay, my doubt is you're saying 2% for technical services and 10% for other services. So what is the difference between technical service and professional?
The technical services, like the person gives in the back office service, that is IT services, that comes under technical services. The professional services means that is the CA, Then the sports persons,
Lawyers.
lawyers, and the actors also that comes under professional services. So this is the difference between technical services and professional services. So rates and threshold limit. So fees for technical services, that is not being a professional service. That is the doubt I cleared, that the IT services that is given under technical service. So the TDS rate is 2% and the separate limit is 30,000. The same as 94C we had that aggregate amount. Sorry, the 30,000 limit. For fees for professional services, 10% at 30% as threshold limit. Royalty in the nature of consideration for sale, distribution, or exhibition of royalty in the nature of consideration for sale, distribution, or exhibition of cinematographic films, that is 2%, and other royalty 10%, that is 30,000. As you said that the third point, any remuneration for fees or commission by whatever name call other than those on which tax is deductible under section 192 to a director of a company, that is 10%. That is that sitting fees has to be deducted at 10%. There is no limit for that. Yes. So again a question. XYZ Limited makes a payment 28,000 to Mr. Ganesh on 2/8/2021 towards fees for professional services, and another payment for 25,000 to him on the same date towards technical services. Whether XYZ is liable to deduct TDS under 94J.
No, you have to see headwise on the aggregate amount, right?
So it is deductible
Not deductible.
Not deductible.
Based on each case.
because the deduction differs from the services, that is technical service and the professional service, and the aggregate amount doesn't exceed 30,000. Then 194I. This is any person other than individual or HUF who is responsible for paying to resident any income by way of rent shall deduct income tax at the rate of 2% in respect of rent for plant machinery or equipment, 10% in respect of other than rental other rental payments, that is rent for use of any land or building, including factory buildings. So, however, an individual or HUF whose total sales or gross receipts or turnover from the business or profession carried on by him exceeds 1 crore in case of business and 50 lakhs in case of profession during the financial year immediately preceding financial year in which such rent was credited or paid is liable to deduct a tax at source. That is, if an individual or HUF makes an HUF, individual or HUF whose total sales, gross receipts or turnover exceeds 1 crore. That is for business or profession, if it exceeds 1 crore. In the case of 50 lakhs, in the case of 1 crore in case of business, 1 crore in case of business, and 50 lakhs in case of profession during the financial year. Immediately the preceding, that is next year, the person has to deduct tax at deduct TDS on 194, right?
So what is the relevance of 0.4?
Relevance of 0.4 is relevant for
I don't know. What is the purpose? Why they have
so you can claim that amount next preceding year, that you cannot deduct TDS on while during the turnover is 1 crore, right? So next year the turnover is 1 crore. Then next year you can deduct TDS at 194, right?
No, and what I'm asking is, what is the need or necessity of keeping that whole fund? Why there is a limit of 1 crore or 50 lakhs in case of business or profession? Anyone?
We would be liable to tax on it. Those individuals or HUF would be liable to tax on it.
No, I'm not coming to that point. Okay. Why they are saying in this section, only if payment is made by an individual who is having business income is more than 1 crore has to be deducted TDS, and who has less than 1 crore not required to deduct TDS. What is the relevance of that?
Because if their income crosses 1 crore, only they will do tax on it.
The answer is to make ease of complaint. For example, if a person is carrying business, he's only having turnover of 50 lakhs, then he would file TDS return, he will do all compliances to make the business to run in an easier manner. They have made this limit, threshold limit. Only when the business the business income is exceeding 1 crore, or professional income is exceeding 50 lakhs, they are required to TDS. Otherwise, they are not required because it is an the government has made the compliance easy for those individuals whose business income is less than 1 crore. So that is the point. That is the relevance of food.
So next 194H commission. Any person other than an individual or hub who is responsible for paying HAF, who is responsible for paying any income by way of commission or brokerage to a resident shall direct income tax at rate of 5%. Any commission which is you are paying to a person, we can deduct a TDS of 5% on under 194H. No deduction is required if the amount of such income or the aggregate of such amount does not exceed 50,000 during the financial year. That is, if the amount doesn't exceed 15,000, the no deduction is required if the amount of such income does not exceed 15,000. So next is TDS forms. There are 3 forms I have taken. Other than that, relevant TDS forms are there. So first 24Q. This 24Q is only for salaries. In this first 3 quarters, we have the pay has to for the TDS the 24Q has 4 quarters. For all the forms for all the forms there is 4 quarters. In 24Q the 24Q is for only for salary, and 26Q is for other than salary, and 27Q is for non-resident. Due dates. So in this, all the due dates are same for 24Q, 26Q, and 27Q. For Q1, that is April to April, June, July, from April
1st April to 30th.
1st April to 30th June, 31st July is the due date, and the Q2 31st October, and Q3 31st January, and Q4 1st May. As it repeats for 26Q and 27Q. So that's all. Thank you.
So I have a point, and so what is the necessity to deduct TDS, and what is its impact? What if TDS is not deducted? What happens?
The tax.
No. Why there is a need? First question is why there is a need to deduct TDS, and second question is what is the impact of deducting TDS?
What is
the need? Why they are deducting TDS? What is the purpose?
The purpose is to pay the government at one point, and if the amount is paid, the amount deducted from the person, he can claim that credit from the government.
Yeah, I'm asking why that has to happen. Why while paying payment to some person, one has to deduct and pay to the government, and such person can claim such credit. Why that?
So
Why such things are needed? So much complaint.
this shows the transaction between them easily can be